There's your quiz, 4 questions. Give you about 2 minutes. All right, line on the equal sign. Is the variable happy? No. He's not alone. Who's with him? 38. What's the 38 doing? Adding. How do I get rid of plus 38? Minus 38 minus 38. X equals 23. Right? Straightforward. Number 2, line down the equal sign. Is the variable happy? No. Why not? He's not alone. Who's with him? 17. What's the 17 doing to him? Subtracting from him. How do I get rid of that minus 17? Add 17. Add 17. Y equals 37. Don't play with lead. You should be working on this. And learning, right? This is learning. Number 3, line down the equal sign. Is the variable happy? No. He's being, well, who's with him? 9.4. What's the 9.4 doing? Adding to him. How do I get rid of 9.4 then? Minus 9.4. Like this? Minus 9.4 like that, Mr. Jine? No. It is minus 9.4. That's gone. M equals, there's a decimal here and a 0 over here. It ends up being 30.6. M equals 30.6. Right? Last one. Line down the equal sign. Is variable happy? No. See, minus 6 is there. How do I get rid of minus 6? Add 6 like this, plus 6 like that? No. Plus 6. Right? You don't have to put the point 0 if you don't want. P equals 15.8. You know, take everything off your desk. You need some paper to practice with, a pencil. That's it. That's it. We're going to learn another type of equation. All right, here we go. Look here. What does that mean? What does that mean? 3 times x, right? 3x means 3 times x. Okay. Here's the deal. I know you know the answer. I'm not interested in you knowing the answer. I want you to see how you get the answer. All right? Same situation. What's the first thing I do? Line down the equal sign. That does not change. The next thing you do doesn't change either. What do? Check to see if the variable's happy. Is he happy? No, why not? Because you're not alone. He's not alone. He's a hermit. He wants to be alone. Who's with him? Why isn't he alone? There's a 3 with him. What's the 3 doing to him? Multiplying. Hold on. The 3 is multiplying the x. Well, then what's the opposite of multiply by 3? Divide by 3. Here's how you do it. Watch. You're watching. Divide by 3. You know that making a fraction, turning it into a fraction, is division as well, right? Divide by 3. As soon as I do that, what do I have to do? Divide the other side by 3, right? Whatever I do to one side, I have to do the exact same thing to the other. That's the rule. You all should be writing this down, don't you think? As soon as I do something to both sides of the equation, I put a line here to separate it. It's like a step, right? It's a new step. People, I'm going to show you something. You don't have to do this every time, but I'm going to show you one time. But I'm going to show you how to do this one time just so you can see why I'm allowed to do what I'm going to do. So you paying attention? 3x divided by 3. All right, so here we are. We're going to take this thing up here, and I'm just going to show you down here, 3x divided by 3. What is the difference between 3x divided by 3 and 3 over 3 times x? Because what is x? How else can I write x if I wanted to? Can't I put it x over 1? Can I make this not 3 over 3 times x over 1? Anything divided by 1 is itself. Agreed? What's the difference? What is 3 times x? What is 3 times x? 3x, right? And what is 3 times 1? 3. You see that they're the same thing? 3 over 3 times x over 1 is the same thing as this. Agreed? Also, looking at this then, knowing that that is true, what is 3 divided by 3? 1. Well, what is 1 times x over 1? It's just x. It's just x. So, when I go over here and do 3x divided by 3, ultimately, what have I done? I've turned that into simply x. I get to cross out the 3. Does that make sense? That's why I'm showing. You don't have to do that every time. All you have to do is know that dividing by 3, right here, you get to cross those out. You get to cross those out because it really is the same thing as 1 times x, which is just x. So that's why I get to bring down the x down here. What is 12 divided? What is this right here? 12 divided by 3? 4. How do you know if you're right? What do you do? You check it. You go 3 times 4. Is that 12? Is 3 times 4 12? Yes. Try one of these then. Not just giving me the answer, but now you're showing me that you know how to show the work. All right, here we go. Line down the equal sign. Is the variable happy? No? Why not?
He's not alone.
Not alone. Who's with him?
5.
The 5. What's the 5 doing to him? Multiply. What's the opposite of multiply by 5? Divide by 5. Divide by 5. What am I allowed to do with those 5s over there? M equals, what does this say? 45 divided by 5. What is 45 divided by 5?
9.
How do I make sure that that's right? Plug it in. 5 times 9, is that 45? There we have it. How many of you got that right? Awesome. Let's try another one. Well, I'll show you another one. I'll show you one. What about, so the book, I don't like that they do this, but it's fine. In algebra, we're doing equations. In algebra, you show division. I don't even like this anymore. I don't like that. You really use that. Once you start getting into algebra, you don't use the division symbol anymore. When you want to show divide, what do? You turn it into a fraction, right? That is the same thing as this. And that's really what they should be doing. They don't. So what I want you to do is when they give you questions like this in your book, when you write your question down to show your work, guess how I want you to write it? Like this, as a fraction. Does that make sense? That's what I want. So, we'll do this. I'm going to show you this one. Are you watching? Line down the equal sign. Is the variable happy? No. Why not? He has a 10 with him. Here's the deal. The 10's dividing him. When you write this down, actually, when the question looks like this, you're gonna go, oh, I don't like that either. You're going to go. Do you agree that that's the same thing? Yes. Okay. The 10, what's the 10 doing to the x? Dividing him. What's the opposite of divide by 10? Multiply by 10. Multiply by 10. Now here's the deal. Look, I have 10 times x over 10. Without reducing or without anything, what is that equal to? Is that not the same as 10 over 1 times x over 10? And then is that not 10 times x? What is 10 times x? 10x over 10. And what is that the same thing as? It's the same thing as 10 over 10 times x, which is 1 times x, which is just x. You see what I'm talking about? Are you following that, Morgan? Are you following that? It's several steps. You don't have to show these steps every time, but you need to know why it is that we're allowed to go like this. Right? Why are we allowed to cross out those 10s? Okay. What is 20 times 10? 200. Am I right? Is 200 divided by 10 20? Yes. Okay. You guys try one. Show your work properly, please. Line down the equal sign. What do I do? Thank you. Turn it into a fraction. M divided by 8. You really need to get used to that, for real. Like that's just silly that they write it that way the first time. M divided by 8 equals 4. You should not have left it like that. When you did your work, it should have looked like this. And that's tonight what I demand. If in your work you leave it like that, I'm not going to allow it. So tonight you have to change it to this. Now what? Is the variable happy? No. Why? He's not alone. Who's with him? The 8. What's the 8 doing to him? He's dividing him. What's the opposite of divide by 8? Multiply by 8. Multiply by 8. M equals, what is 4 times 8? 32. Let's see if we're right. Is 32 divided by 8 4? Yeah, you're done. How many of you got that right? That's really it. You have a question? Let's do number 21 right now. Do number 21 on page 140. Number 21. All right, here we go. Line down the equal sign. Is the variable happy? Oh, before we do that. Really, honestly, what I would do if I were you, if there's the question in the book, I wouldn't even write that down like that. You know what I mean? I would write it down right the first time. I would go y divided by 43 equals 1204. That's what I would write down. You know when you do your big box, you know? Line down the equal sign. The variable's not happy. He's being divided by 43. What's the opposite of divide by 43? Multiply by 43. Multiply by 43. I don't care how you write it. You know, like I'm used to this, times 43. But whatever, I mean, if you want to go times 43 so that you can actually now, you see that looks like a problem that you would see? You know, like you're used to? I mean, whatever. I don't care. Those are gone. Y equals. Okay, let's do the problem. $51,772, right? Y equals 51,722. 772. How many of you got that? Did you just not? Yeah, all of you, right? Okay. What about when you get a decimal? I mean, let's see. Let's look at a really nasty one. I mean, like something that I don't know. If you can handle this, I don't know. Number 15 on page 140. Do 15. I don't know if you can handle it or not. Line down the equal sign. Variable happy? No. He's being multiplied by 2.5. What's the opposite of multiply by 2.5? What's the opposite of multiply by 2.5? Divide by 2.5, right? Divide by 2.5. If I divide that side by 2.5, I have to divide this side by 2.5. Those 2.5s are gone. G equals, and now I have to go over here and go 17.5 divided by 2.5. Can I divide them like that? No, I have to move the decimal over one. It ends up being 25. So 175 divided by 25 ends up being 7. How many of you got G equals 7? See, that's so a lot of the times it's just because you guys aren't great at dividing or multiplying. You got to be able to do that. All right. I'm going to give you your homework now.